What's happening, fellas? Today we're getting Big Black up on the dyno here. I affectionately call this KLR650 Big Black for obvious reasons. This is the bike that Christy and I take to Daytona, mid-Ohio. It's awesome for two-up riding. Huge gas tank. You can ride all day long. It'll zoom down the highway smoothly at 85 miles an hour. Liquid-cooled, 5-speed. It's got a progressive shock on the back, progressive fork springs. It has a braided stainless front line. Absolutely love this bike. Now, we have the XR650Ls that Jeff's doing the project on, the big bore stage 4 engine kit. But what we wanted to do is compare a stage 1 KLR650 today to a stage 1 XR650L, my personal XR, my two Enduros. This engine here is bone stock on the internals. It has 3,500 miles on it. Wizard did a stage 1 kit on this. Wiz, what'd you do?
We did a FMF dyno jet kit on it, and we also did an FMF slip-on. Oh, and different air filter, yeah.
Exhaust, intake, and uncork the carb.
Yep.
We put a nice set of Michelin Yankees on here. Highly recommend these tires. Huge improvement. They're going to end up on my 650. Jeff, will this affect the dyno number? The fact that this is almost a semi-knob tire?
Well, you know, with the CR500s, we noticed a big difference because they're pushing 50 plus horsepower. This one's probably 20 horsepower less, so I don't think we're going to have a slipping issue.
And it's just not as aggressive as
Yeah.
the Nobby.
Yeah, this is considered to be a street legal enduro tire. So, without further ado, let's fire it up. Sometimes less is more. For the type of riding I do, I don't need a 50 horse CR500. I love this 4-stroke 650. It's a kick-ass bike. Christy loves it too. It's one of her favorites. Very comfortable. And again, you can cruise 85 miles an hour, two people on this thing, on the fast lane on the highway, yet take it cow trailing. And I've taken it down the sand pits, Times Farm Camp, where I was rode when I was a kid. Very capable on and off road enduro. They're very affordable. They're out there a dime a dozen for $2,000 to $3,000. You buy one like I did this and fix it up. I put quite a bit of work into it. You know, the shock, the fork kit. We put Renthal bars on it, pro grips. This was the burgundy one, and it had faded to almost a pink color. So it had originally the black tank, but we painted the front fender, the fairing, the shrouds, and the rear fender, and the number plates came out real nice. Wow, 34 horse. Not too shabby, Jeff. 35 horse.
I got to say, I'm amazed at that number because riding the 650 Honda yesterday that only showed 30 felt a lot stronger than this thing.
Could it be the weight?
I think it's the gearing. The gearing's real short on this. I tried to jack a wheelie in second, which I was doing yesterday with the Hondas. It was just lifting. This thing, I revved it up, dumped the clutch, and I couldn't get it to even come up in second. So
It could be the weight bias also, the giant gas tank, the fact it's a little heavier, and it's geared a little more for street than dirt. I think it's a combination of factors.
It's
definitely
a
not the horsepower.
nice looking graph, though.
Yeah, that graph is beautiful. One of the reasons I love this bike, it's such a fun piece to ride. When we went to Unadilla, we took this out for a 20-mile ride, Christy and I, to the winery. Had some pizza, and she had some glass of wine, and it's just a great bike to take out with your gal on the back or out by yourself. Well, that's stage 1. We didn't have the dyno here before, so we're not sure what it put down before we did that, but I'm sure it was probably 30 horse or 5 horse less, right? Next one up is the XR650L with the stage 1 kit. 2018 model, 563 miles on it. Wizard, you did the stage 1 on this. What exactly did you do?
Slip-on muffler, FMF, and I did a dyno jet or FMF dyno jet kit in the carburetor, and then a K&N air filter.
So, and you also removed the smog device for off-road use, yeah.
It's a block-off plate.
Block-off plate.
Yeah.
So the engine looks a little bit cleaner
Yep.
without that big pump on the side, and it's definitely breathing better. A bigger jet, some more fuel's coming in, and the exhaust is uncorked. 30 horse stock. Let's see what this did. Guys, this is why we have a dyno here, and this is why the dyno is the ultimate tuning device. If you look at the chart here, remember the KLR650 chart was nice and smooth all the way up and over. This one's all jumpy. That means the jetting's off. Jeff thinks that the main jet might be a little too rich. Even though it's probably got 3 or 4 horse more than stock, it is still 1 horse or 2 horse less than the KLR650.
Not a smooth.
And it's not a smooth graph. So we're gonna do a fuel sample. We had to remove the spark arrestor to do that. That's why we didn't do a fuel sample to start with.
All right, so actually the main jet's too small. The fuel to air curve is right here. Optimum is 13 to 1. And about mid-range through the power, it just starts climbing and climbing and climbing above 13 to 1. It gets up into 14 area. So the main jet's too small. But at idle, we got to turn the fuel screw in. It's like off the scale. It's supposed to be 13 to 1. And it's way down here below 10. You can't even see it. So I mean, the jetting's a little messed up, needs to be dialed in, and then this thing will, it'll top out at 35 horsepower.
Same as the KLR.
Right.
That's how key the jetting is in
Yeah.
the performance and rideability also, correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah, drivability, yeah, and your fuel mileage. So let me just check the needle. I'll do a cruise. That's how you check the needle. So the needle's too rich, so your fuel mileage is gonna consume more fuel than it should. So we can lean out the needle and put a bigger main jet in it and adjust the fuel screw for idle, and that'll be the 3 circuits of the carburetor will be dialed in, and then the drivability and your fuel mileage and your best power will be there.
And this is something you wouldn't know if you didn't have a dyno with a air fuel
No,
cycle,
you just
right?
ride the bike and you feel there's something wrong with it and you make a change and you don't really know what you did by, seat of the pants.
So how can a shop really know what they're doing without a dyno?
They really can't. I mean, the old school boys just make them run the best they can by the seat of the pants. But, this is the top notch.
This is science,
Yeah, right.
actual science, and it measures it exactly. There's no pie in the sky. Some people think their bike runs better. They put a pipe on, it's louder. You put it on a dyno, it's got 3 horse less because it's not jetted for that. It's too lean. Still wheelies like a son of a gun, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait to get it dialed in. So this one here, we're leaving it the stage 1 kit, so we will adjust the jetting out to get that right. And then the one we're building for Junior will be, I don't like to do them in stages, but people do say that, so that'd be like a stage 4. That's a full Monty. Or maybe stage 3, because stage 4 would be crank,
Yeah.
stroker crank, right?
Yeah, stage 3, we're changing the carburetor and doing some head work and valve jobs. So you could call that a stage 3.
High compression piston. What's the next step? A stroker crank?
Yeah, you start stroking the crank and maybe running exotic fuels and stuff.
There you have it, folks.